All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on a familiar body of water, and I'm out here to catch fish and everything else, but I'm also out here to kind of prove a point. I think it's a lot of misconception out here about the Pelican Bass Raider, on how dependable it is in certain conditions. And what I mean by conditions, it's like conditions like like today. Right now I'm in a protected area right now, from the wind. But once I leave out of this area right here, the wind is blowing about 15 miles per hour, the actual wind, but the gust is like in the low 30s. And I've seen it, here and there about that question about, how capable this fishing boat is. Because it's a boat, it's no joke. This is a good fishing boat. I think it's more than it's probably more capable than even Pelican imagined it to be. And I'm not really, I don't get paid anything to kind of boast about this Pelican Bass Raider, but I'm more interested in trying to help other people out there that don't really have a lot of money to put $60,000-$70,000 into a boat, or just don't have the money. And just show them that there's a way of getting a way of fishing, whether you're bass fishing, cat fishing, brim fishing, to get on the water and be able to enjoy that part of nature, and not have to break the bank about this and everything else. So I'm just gonna fish around a little bit, and as I fish, I'm gonna point out things to y'all about how I go about. Yeah, I stand a lot in this boat and everything else, and I strongly advise anybody, if you're not used to standing in it, or your floor is not as firm as it should be, I advise you to always sit down. Let's get to fishing. All right, to start things off today, we're sitting in about 49.1 degree of water. Like I said, the wind is gusting at about the low 30s. Sustained wind is probably about 15 miles per hour. Just gonna go fishing. Let's get to it. Okay, like I was saying earlier, I think one of the most important aspects of fishing in heavy wind or not ideal conditions is to first decide exactly how you want to fish. Do you decide if you want to sit down the majority of the time, or kind of like do both? But you have to make up in your mind which one you're gonna do before you even get on the water. Like I said, I'm a type of fisherman, I'm gonna fish standing up 90% of the time. So most of the time when I'm fishing, I try to keep this area of the boat, which is the front of the boat, which I give myself plenty of room to operate, nothing to trip over. Also, throughout my boat, I try to limit what all I got on the boat, have my balance of the boat, meaning weight wise. And if I'm standing, the one thing I try to do is, if you look at my feet, I'm constantly standing in the boat with my feet like this. I'm always centered. I never stand like this, just straight feet side by side. I'm always standing like this, or like that, or I'm sitting down. But I'm always preparing myself to try to keep my balance the best I can. The number one thing, that I didn't mention in the intro is to always wear your safety vest. Don't never go without it. I don't care how hot it is, how cool it is. I don't care if you know how to swim. I don't care about which situation it is. Always wear your safety vest whenever you go fishing. Backlash got me to start off today. But we're gonna start off, we're gonna throw something real slow, Texas rig, and then I'm gonna venture on out into that heavy wind. sorry. Maneuver y'all through the woods. Gotta get y'all right up there. Can't have all that on the screen. You can't have all that on screen. You can't see nothing. Okay, I'm about to venture on out into this heavy wind. Now, it's a couple of factors that you need to consider when you're fishing conditions like this. I think one of the factors that you have to consider is the body of water that you're fishing. You know, try to choose bodies of water that don't have a lot of boat traffic. So choose smaller bodies of water, got more protecting on it. That's one thing. And the other thing is, I'm a big believer in fishing into the wind when you're fishing on a Pelican Bass Raider. This boat is very light. You know, I have an Enduramax. It has the in-between speeds on it. So I'm gonna find that speed that's gonna still keep me going at a good rate out here, and that's how I'm gonna fish it. Okay, right now, I've changed locations. I'm currently fishing in a spot where the wind is coming towards me. I found that correct speed that I want my trolling motor to run in, which is between 10 and 30. So it's about 20-something%. If you can see, I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but if you can see the bank, the boat is slowly going in that direction towards the wind. And it's allowing me to fish this bank. And I'm just gonna cast on in there, slowly work it. If I feel like I'm going too fast, I slow it down just a little bit. Now, just to prove my point, I'm gonna, if you can see me, I'm moving, but I'm gonna stop my engine. Stop the little motor. Slowly but surely, you'll see me start to go back in the opposite direction. It's a good time right now because the wind ain't gusting, but slowly but surely, you'll see me slowly, I'm starting to move now. But as you can see, my boat is slowly going backwards now. I mean, it's picking up speed now. It's slowly going backwards. And if the wind get too heavy on me, I'm going to show y'all another thing that's very vital to me as far as steering the boat and maintaining the right direction in the boat. But if you can see, you can tell that I'm going really, really at a good pace backwards. I'm throwing a Texas rig, so I want to be able to kind of like slowly pick this area apart regardless of the wind. So I'm gonna turn my trolling motor back up to that speed again, right in between, and you should slowly start seeing me go forward. And that allows me to fish into the wind. If the wind picks up and it gets heavier, I will turn it up a little bit, to accommodate the speed of the wind. So I'm gonna show you. Let's see what the current, but I'm gonna pull up this right here and we're gonna give you all an example of the conditions right now. So this gives you an idea. It's Sunday the 4th of January. And if y'all can see that well, if you see that pretty well, we're facing 10-mile-per-hour wind with a wind gust of 32 miles per hour, and it's a northeastern wind. Okay, right here what I'm doing is another technique that I use. The wind is kind of like at a funky angle. So what I'm doing is I don't have anything going on the trolling motor, and I'm allowing the wind to push me on it at its own speed, letting the boat kind of position itself along this bank. As long as I'm pushing, closer, going down this bank right here, I'm good. But if I get too close to the bank, I just simply turn my trolling motor on to kind of pull me back outward towards the middle of the lake. But I'm playing the wind right now. And you'll be surprised how much fishing you can do just by kind of using this tactic right here. I think I got, well, I thought I had one. Like right here, I'm kind of getting a little bit too close to the bank. All I do is simply turn the trolling motor on a little bit. Turn it on a little bit right here, and it pulls me away from the bank. You know, I just want to get away from the bank. Yeah, there's some rough wind today. You know, got to kind of adjust that speed and get the right speed to pull you away. You know, I'm having to put a little bit of unk in it, but as you see, I'm pulling away from the bank now. As I get away from the bank, I stop my motor and I just let it continue to take me down the lake, fishing it like this right here. Yeah, it's awkward, but it allows you to fish. You know, I'm bass fishing. I don't want to sit still too long, especially in the wind like this. So this is how I do it. It got later on in the evening time, the sunlight had started going down, so I called it a day. The last thing that I want to talk about on my boat that allows me to fish in windier conditions and still be able to control the boat pretty decent is my rudder. I know some of y'all that have followed my videos may have already seen this little rudder thing that I have on the back of my outboard. And the reason that I have that on the outboard, anytime you know you have a big outboard, 25 and bigger, if you look at the bottom of the shaft of the all the way down to the lower unit, those areas of the outboard has like a pedal-like shape to them. And as you can look at my Pelican Bass Raider and outboards that are typically smaller in horsepower, it's more of a cylinder shape. You know, I use my outboard most of the time when I'm fishing. So whenever I'm bass fishing, I like to still have control of the back end of my boat to kind of like help me steer and everything else. And this rudder system that I came up on my own, I'm gonna actually do a video on my rudder that I have attached to my outboard on a later date to kind of give y'all an idea how I done it, how I kind of fabricated it. You know, it's something I've not seen anybody else do, especially like connecting it to an outboard. I've seen them do it on a trolling motor, but outboard, you know, I've not seen anybody, but it's something that I've created a few years ago, and it works great. It works great. It allows the boat to kind of, you know, respond and turning a whole lot faster and better. So with that being said, I appreciate each and every last one of you for stopping by, checking out what I'm up to. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all on the next one.